What if everything you thought you knew about Dana Perino was carefully constructed to hide a much darker truth? Before we dive into the shocking revelations that the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like icon, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see one of Fox News's most recognizable faces. And trust me, you need to stay until the very end, because the final bombshell will leave you absolutely stunned. Dana Perino, the polished political commentator who served as White House press secretary under George W. Bush, has long presented herself as the epitome of professionalism and integrity. But behind that carefully crafted image lies a web of controversial decisions, questionable alliances, and secrets that powerful people desperately want to keep buried. From her mysterious departure from certain political circles to the whispered rumors about what really happened during those closed-door meetings in the Bush administration, the official narrative simply doesn't add up. Why did her role suddenly shift after years of being a trusted voice? What are the real reasons behind her carefully timed career moves that seem to coincide with major political scandals? And perhaps most disturbingly, what connections has she maintained with figures that the public was never meant to know about? The inconsistencies in her public statements, the convenient memory lapses during crucial testimonies, and the pattern of her associations paint a picture that mainstream outlets refuse to investigate. We're talking about undisclosed meetings, financial ties that raise serious ethical questions, and a trajectory that suggests someone pulling strings behind the scenes. This isn't just another celebrity gossip piece. This is about uncovering the truth behind a woman who has influenced political discourse for decades while keeping her most controversial secrets locked away. So buckle up, because by the time we reach the final revelation, you'll understand why certain powerful entities have worked so hard to keep this information from reaching the public, and why Dana Perino's real story is far more complex and troubling than anyone ever imagined. Dana Perino is an American political commentator and author who rose to prominence as the 26th White House press secretary under President George W. Bush from 2007 to 2009, making her only the second woman to hold this prestigious position. Born on May 9, 1972, in Evanston, Wyoming, she grew up in Denver, Colorado, where she developed an early interest in politics and communications. Perino earned her bachelor's degree in mass communications from Colorado State University and later obtained a master's degree in public affairs reporting from the University of Illinois Springfield. Before her White House role, she worked in various communications positions, including serving as the press secretary for Representative Dan Schaefer and later for the Department of Justice. After leaving the White House in 2009, Perino transitioned seamlessly into media, joining Fox News as a contributor and eventually becoming co-host of The Five, one of the network's most popular programs. She also served as co-anchor of America's Newsroom and has authored several books. Known for her measured tone and professional demeanor, Perino has become one of the most recognizable conservative voices in American media, maintaining relevance through her insightful political commentary and ability to connect with audiences across the political spectrum. 1. The mysterious White House incident that changed everything. During her final year as White House press secretary in 2008, Dana Perino experienced a shocking and little-discussed incident that many believe fundamentally changed the trajectory of her entire career. While covering President Bush's historic visit to Iraq in December 2008, an Iraqi journalist threw both of his shoes at the president during what was supposed to be a routine press conference. In the ensuing chaos and confusion, a microphone boom swung wildly and struck Perino directly in the face, giving her a visible black eye that she had to explain to the American public for weeks afterward. While the physical injury eventually healed, sources close to Perino suggest this traumatic moment made her seriously reassess her role in such a high-pressure, sometimes physically dangerous position. The incident was significantly downplayed by the mainstream media at the time, with most coverage focusing on the president's quick reflexes in dodging the shoes. But those who worked alongside her in the White House noticed a subtle but unmistakable shift in her demeanor and approach to the job afterward. Some insiders claim this violent event was the real catalyst that made her begin considering leaving the political front lines for a completely different kind of career path. The psychological impact of being in the literal line of fire, even if accidentally, shouldn't be underestimated when we're trying to understand what really happened to Dana Perino. It raises serious questions about what truly motivated her subsequent career decisions and whether this traumatic experience pushed her away from a life she might have otherwise continued in politics. 2. The calculated career pivot to media that nobody saw coming. When Dana Perino officially left the White House in January 2009 as the Obama administration took over, many political insiders expected her to continue in high-level political consulting, perhaps join a major lobbying firm, or even run for political office herself, given her extensive experience, connections, and name recognition. Instead, she made a surprising and what seemed like sudden pivot to television news, joining Fox News as a political contributor and commentator. What's absolutely fascinating when you dig into the details is how remarkably quickly this transition happened and how seamlessly she was integrated into Fox's programming lineup without the usual growing pains. Industry insiders and people familiar with the negotiations reveal that discussions had actually been happening behind the scenes for several months before her official White House departure, strongly suggesting she had planned her exit strategy well in advance and knew exactly where she was heading. Unlike other former press secretaries and White House officials who struggled for years to find their footing in media or faded into obscurity, Perino was given primetime slots almost immediately, eventually co-hosting The Five, which rapidly became one of cable news's highest-rated programs with millions of viewers. Critics at the time questioned whether her deep political connections and Republican establishment relationships gave her an unfair advantage in landing such a prestigious media role, while her supporters vigorously argued her unique experience and communication skills made her uniquely qualified for television. The remarkable speed and unprecedented success of this career transition raises intriguing questions about whether she had genuinely grown disillusioned with the brutal world of traditional politics, or if this media career was always part of a larger, carefully orchestrated master plan that very few people in her inner circle actually knew about at the time. 3. Her unexpected marriage and closely guarded personal life. One aspect of Dana Perino's life that genuinely surprises many people when they first learn about is her long-lasting marriage to British businessman Peter McMahon, who is actually 18 years her senior, a significant age gap that challenges conventional expectations and raises eyebrows, even in today's more progressive society. The couple first met somewhat randomly and serendipitously on a flight to Denver when Perino was just 25 years old and working in her early career, still finding her footing in the competitive world of political communications. And remarkably, they married within just 1 year in 1998, long before she became the nationally recognized household name and influential media personality she is today. What's truly remarkable and somewhat unusual for someone in such a high-profile public position is how Perino has managed to keep her personal life remarkably private and carefully separated despite being constantly in the public eye and subject to intense media scrutiny for well over 2 decades now. McMahon, who built a successful and lucrative career as an entrepreneur in the medical marketing and retail field, working with major pharmaceutical companies across Europe and America, has very deliberately and consistently stayed completely out of the media spotlight, rarely giving interviews, making public appearances, or even appearing in photographs with his famous wife. This level of privacy is almost unheard of in modern political media circles where spouses are typically expected to be part of the public package. The couple made the conscious and deeply personal decision not to have children, a choice that Perino has become increasingly and refreshingly open about discussing in recent years, especially in her books, interviews, and on social media where she shares her life with her beloved dog Jasper instead. She's explained that this wasn't a decision made lightly, but rather a mutual agreement that allowed both of them to pursue demanding careers and maintain the lifestyle they wanted, including extensive international travel and the flexibility to take on challenging professional opportunities. This personal choice actually challenged traditional conservative family values and expectations that many members of her core audience deeply hold and consider non-negotiable. Yet she's managed to address it with such authenticity, honesty, and grace that it's rarely been weaponized against her politically by opponents or used to question her conservative credentials. In fact, her openness about being happily child-free has resonated with many women who feel pressured by societal expectations to become mothers even when they don't want to. The couple's genuinely international lifestyle, regularly splitting their time between their apartment in Manhattan, New York, and properties in England where McMahon maintains business interests, reveals a much more cosmopolitan, globally minded, and sophisticated side of Perino that sharply contrasts with her humble Wyoming ranching roots and small-town American upbringing, where she grew up riding horses and working on her grandfather's ranch. Close friends and colleagues consistently describe their relationship as the crucial stabilizing force and emotional foundation that allowed her to not just survive, but actually thrive in such demanding, high-pressure careers where so many others have experienced burnout, divorce, and personal breakdown. McMahon reportedly provides unwavering support while maintaining his own successful career, creating a partnership of equals rather than the traditional political spouse dynamic. Perino has credited him with keeping her grounded during the most stressful periods of her White House tenure, providing perspective when Washington politics threatened to consume her entire identity, and reminding her that there's a whole world beyond the Beltway bubble. What's particularly intriguing is how their relationship has endured despite the immense pressures that typically destroy political marriages. The long periods of separation, when Perino was working intense White House hours or traveling for Fox News, and the constant public scrutiny that comes with her level of fame and influence. But what really happened in her personal life to make her consciously prioritize this very private happiness and domestic stability over pursuing the more traditional political spouse role? The Washington social scene that usually comes with her level of influence and power, or the celebrity marriage approach where couples monetize their relationship through social media and public appearances? The answer might lie in witnessing firsthand how the Washington political machine destroys personal relationships and understanding that protecting her marriage required establishing firm boundaries between public and private life from the very beginning. 4. The Fox News upheaval and her survival strategy. As Fox News faced wave after wave of serious scandals, expensive lawsuits, and dramatic leadership changes over the past tumultuous decade, including the forced departures of network founder Roger Ailes and top-rated host Bill O'Reilly amid extremely serious sexual harassment and misconduct allegations, Dana Perino's role at the network became increasingly significant and central to its identity. While numerous high-profile personalities were caught up in various controversies, forced out, or saw their reputations permanently destroyed, Perino somehow maintained a remarkably clean public reputation, carefully positioning herself as a consistent voice of reason, professionalism, and journalistic integrity during chaotic times. However, what really happened behind the scenes at Fox News during this period is considerably more complex and nuanced than the public narrative suggests. According to multiple network sources and people familiar with internal discussions, Perino was actually offered numerous opportunities to take on much larger roles with significantly more money and influence, including potentially hosting her own solo primetime show, which would have made her one of the network's top earners. But she repeatedly and consistently turned down these lucrative offers, expressing a strong preference for the collaborative ensemble format of the Five instead. This decision genuinely puzzled network executives and management, who saw her as a potential ratings goldmine and the perfect face for the network's future. Some media analysts speculate she was deeply wary of the intense scrutiny, public criticism, and pressure that inevitably comes with solo hosting responsibilities, while others suggest she witnessed firsthand how that level of pressure psychologically destroyed several colleagues and wanted absolutely no part of that lifestyle. During the network's painful #MeToo reckoning, when numerous women came forward with allegations, Perino was notably and conspicuously silent on many of the specific controversies swirling around her workplace, leading some critics to publicly question whether she was complicit through her calculated silence or simply trying to survive and protect her career in an extremely difficult and toxic corporate environment. Her seemingly effortless navigation of these turbulent years without becoming collateral damage or being forced out speaks to either incredible political skill and awareness or something more calculated and self-protective that the public never fully understood or appreciated. 5. Her hidden battle with imposter syndrome and anxiety. In recent years, Dana Perino has become surprisingly and unexpectedly candid about her long-running struggles with severe imposter syndrome and debilitating anxiety. Revelations that genuinely shocked many viewers and colleagues who had always seen her as the absolute picture of confidence, competence, and unshakable composure under pressure. In her multiple published books and in numerous television interviews, she's admitted with remarkable honesty to constantly feeling like she fundamentally didn't belong in the White House, perpetually fearing she would inevitably make some catastrophic, career-ending mistake during the daily televised press briefings watched by millions. What really happened behind the scenes was a deeply private and isolating battle with crippling self-doubt and anxiety that she expertly masked with outward professionalism, meticulous preparation, and what appeared to be natural confidence. Perino has publicly revealed that she would religiously spend countless hours rehearsing and memorizing potential questions and carefully crafted answers, consistently arriving at her White House office before dawn to ensure she was overprepared for absolutely every possible scenario that might unfold. This extreme perfectionism and obsessive preparation took a serious and measurable toll on her mental health and overall well-being. Though she kept these struggles completely hidden from colleagues, reporters, and the American public for many years. After finally leaving the intense pressure of the White House environment, she actively sought professional therapy to properly deal with the accumulated stress, trauma, and anxiety that had built up over years of service, a decision she now openly advocates for and discusses publicly to reduce stigma. Her newfound openness about these very real mental health struggles has genuinely made her far more relatable and human to diverse audiences across the political spectrum. But it also raises uncomfortable and important questions about the true mental health cost of high-pressure political positions and whether the public has a legitimate right to know when their elected officials and representatives are privately struggling with serious psychological issues. The stark fact that she appeared so remarkably composed and in control while simultaneously battling severe internal demons reveals a profound and troubling disconnect between carefully managed public image and difficult private reality. 6. The reinvention as author, mentor, and her evolving legacy. Perhaps the most unexpected and surprising chapter in Dana Perino's fascinating story is her remarkable transformation into a genuinely successful author and influential mentor figure, particularly for young women trying to break into the traditionally male-dominated fields of politics and media. Her published books, including the best-selling And the Good News Is And Everything Will Be Okay, Life Lessons for Young Women, reveal a much more personal, philosophical, and vulnerable side of her personality that was simply never visible or accessible during her carefully controlled White House years. What really happened is that Perino finally found her most authentic voice and true calling outside the rigid constraints of official government positions and the often limiting network talking points that cable news personalities must follow. She's consciously become a prominent advocate for civility, respect, and thoughtfulness in political discourse, a principal position that sometimes puts her at direct odds with the more combative, aggressive, and confrontational elements of modern conservative media and online political culture. Through her extensive mentorship programs, speaking engagements at universities, and active social media presence, she's directly influenced and shaped an entire new generation of political communicators and aspiring journalists, consistently emphasizing the critical importance of competence, thorough preparation, and substantive knowledge over chasing viral moments, manufactured controversy, and meaningless social media engagement. Critics from the right argue she's become far too moderate, too willing to publicly criticize her own Republican Party and conservative movement, while her supporters see this evolution as genuine intellectual honesty, personal growth, and the natural maturation of someone who's seen politics from every angle. Her ultimate legacy is still actively being written and will likely be debated for years to come. But what's already abundantly clear is that Dana Perino successfully evolved from a skilled political operative and government spokesperson into something considerably more complex and interesting. A media personality and public intellectual who bridges traditional establishment conservatism with a more measured, professional, and thoughtful approach to political commentary. The fundamental question that remains is whether this represents her true, authentic self finally emerging after years of playing roles, or simply another carefully crafted and focus-tested persona specifically designed for a different audience in a dramatically different era in American politics and media. And there you have it, the untold story of what really happened to Dana Perino, a journey that took her from a small town in Wyoming to the White House podium, through traumatic incidents and career-defining moments, navigating one of the most turbulent periods in media history, all while protecting a private life that defied conventional expectations and maintaining her mental health against overwhelming odds. From that shocking incident in Iraq that left her questioning everything, to her calculated pivot into media stardom, her unconventional marriage that's lasted over 2 decades, her masterful survival through Fox News' darkest scandals, her private battles with crippling anxiety that nobody saw, and finally her transformation into an author and mentor shaping the next generation. Dana Perino's story is far more complex, fascinating, and inspiring than the polished image we see on television. Every day, this is a woman who reinvented herself multiple times, who chose authentic happiness over public expectation, and who continues to evolve in ways that surprise even her closest observers. If this video opened your eyes to the real Dana Perino beyond the headlines and official narratives, make sure you've hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're diving deep into more untold stories that the mainstream media won't cover. Drop a comment below telling us what surprised you most about Dana's journey. And if you stayed until the end like I asked, you're now part of an exclusive group who knows the truth. Don't forget to check out our other videos exposing what really happened to your favorite political figures and media personalities. Thanks for watching, and remember, the truth is always more interesting than the carefully crafted story they want you to believe.